Bear Creek is tiny.
We used to just have a gas station, a caution lot, and we were known for the lake. Whenever we go out of town or people ask who we are, like where we're from, we tell them. And we have to say places like around us so everyone knows kind of where we are.
You got Coops over here. You want to stop and get something to eat before you came to school, it's where you went.
Dollar General, school, Bears Den, railroad tracks. I mean, there's not a lot there.
The town of Bear Creek is my hometown. It's a wonderful little community sitting on a beautiful lake. People here are genuine.
We are a small town, but we have a lot of big supporters.
It's a big family. Everyone knows each other, really.
Phillips High School is small. You know everyone by name. You've talked to everyone.
Phillips High School is just like a family. You don't know a stranger. The teachers are all close with us.
If you're new and you want to come to school here or whatever, you just move here, we'll welcome you. Anyone will welcome you. We'll talk to you and show you around. Anything you need, everyone will be there for you and everything.
I mean, I've heard of 1As, you know, and I know they're tiny, but I wasn't expecting to be this small, I guess. When I moved, everyone was like, "What's your name?" you know? And every single person, too. And I knew just about everyone that went to the school, except the younger kids. All the teachers knew every single one of them by name. It was so different. I love it.
I've been here my whole life, since like pre-K, and I've loved this school. We have a lot of supporters, and everybody knew everybody. We had our friends, but we're just really small.
Went to school here. I've been here for a long, long, long time. And I love this place, and I love the community.
Well, I've lived here my entire life. I went to school here, I played basketball here, and I've taught school here for 30 years. My father went to school here, my brother, we were all involved in athletics. This school is my life. It's been my life. I come here every day and probably will for a few more years before I give it up. It's the greatest place.
This high school means more to me than just about anything. Every kid knows everybody. And when someone here at our school is hurting or happy, we rejoice and are sad with them.
The school is an event, the kids are an event.
People here normally have each other's back and they support the school. And I'm very lucky and happy to be a part of this community and be from this town.
It's a little hole-in-the-wall place with a lot of special people. Sports is so big in small towns, and this one's no different.
I started with Gracie and Amber in like 4th grade. We were playing. When Lexi moved here in 6th grade, and then Allie moved in 10th grade, we all kept building up our team. We had some like struggles, but we all like worked together. If anybody was down, we had someone picking us back up.
The boys got all the attention. Nobody would come to our games. They would all pack in about 3rd quarter of ours just to watch the boys. We wanted to be something bigger.
We were all really, really young, but we all knew we had talent. Especially coming from Deb Cook, because she taught us everything when we were younger.
When the girls were in the 8th grade, the senior class that won it, I remember seeing them, and I remember seeing talent. You could tell it was raw, you could tell that they were young and they were getting their brains beat in, but they were playing hard.
This group of girls started back in about 14, 15 when I took over the program. They went through several coaches, and I told our principal at the time was Darryl Weatherly. I said, I'll just do it. And we started building the program there. And I couldn't have done it without Deb Cook and Julie Hallman. I went to them before I told them I would take the job, and asked them if they was on board with me. And they both said yes. They're both former state champions here at Phillips. And they both helped me, and there's no way I could have done it without them. There's just no way.
Well, we had some similar pathways, but we started these girls earlier. Julie and I, both before we even had kids, we talked about how one day we would love to get our girls, or boys, whatever we had, to have the same feeling we had, to be a part of a state championship team. So when they were little, we started them in little basketball leagues, and we took them to travel ball. We did different things to try to build the team. Julie and I were both coaching them then. In junior high, it was frustrating because they were not as focused then. But now they did come around and win the 8th grade Marion County Championship, but we were just not skilled as we needed to be.
In in 9th grade, I think that's when we started going to Wallace, and it was a huge success for all of us. We were just so excited. Coach Phil just kept working us hard, and he knew that we had potential and that we could do it, and he knew that we were the team that was able to go far in our journey.
10th grade year, we made it to Elite 8, and that was like huge for us. And of course, we were all upset, like we lost, but we were like, you know, we just did something huge. And then my junior year is when we got Allie McCollum and Lexi Hajar, and we thought we were ready. Like we were like, oh yeah, we're hyped, you know, we're making it back.
I remember when I moved, it was into volleyball season, and I was like training and stuff, and one of the boys on the boys basketball team, he said, "You ready for Hell Week?" I was like, "What's that?" He said, "You never heard of Hell Week?" I was like, "No." He said, "You're gonna find out what Hell Week is." It
was a rough start. It was a rough start the first 2 years, 3 years. You know, was like some of them said, we was getting our head kicked in. You know, we was getting beat 35, 40 points. And then we just kept working and kept working. We put our fast break in. We're really big on defense, on pressing. And you know, we really worked really hard on the off season on that.
We had a Sunday night deal. They would come after church on Sunday night and they would start shooting and playing. We started competing against boys. We started doing all the things that takes the next step to get to where we needed to go.
Little by little, we chipped away. And we got to Hansville the first time, got to Elite 8. And then the next year, it just kind of seemed a little easier.
We finally just decided that we were tired of losing, and we kept working hard. Coach Phil just kept pushing us, and we started winning. It felt great to start winning games. We didn't actually think we'd make it to the Elite 8 that year, or even to Wallace. We just wanted to win.
When we got that first trip to Wallace, the switch turned. They was in the gym more. They was working harder. Their parents was pushing. Deb and Julie and Bart Hotch come up and worked with them a lot during 2017-18. Just little things that, you know, people went the extra mile. It wasn't just me. This wasn't built by me. This was built by this whole school, this community, and people coming in. It takes more than one person, and I would never, credit's not on me, it's on this whole community. They grew not only as athletes, but young ladies. They was more determined. They had a better picture of what they wanted to do. And that goes to show how they was raised and what kind of young ladies they are.
Phillips won 2 state championships in '85 and '86. Actually, a couple of girls were on these teams on their moms. And remembering as a kid just how big of a deal it was. You know, Winfield had won one in '84, but I just remember when the smaller school won it, the size. People don't know anything about the town, but I remember the grit. We called it the SheBear mentality. There's a grit with the folks that come from Bear Creek and go to Phillips High Schools. It's different than a lot of places.
We were a small team in the 80s, just like this team. In the 80s, we were getting beat terribly. I mean, we got beat by Vina. I was in the 9th grade, 80-10. And my dad said on the way home, "Hey, you gonna play basketball? We're gonna do something about this." We called it the backyard basketball team. We gathered up people to play. Julie, she was standing outside the door here. My dad said, "Who's that? Why don't you go see if she wants to play?" And she was a couple years younger than me. So I went out there and I said, "Hey, you wanna play?" And she's like, "Yeah." We got beat bad for a few years. Back in the day, you could play more than one ball game. The night we got beat 80-10 by Vina, I had played 3 ball games. I played the 7th and 8th grade game, dressed out, played the 9th grade game, and dressed out and played the varsity game. By halftime, it was almost halftime, and we were 0. I got fouled and went to the free throw line, and I made a free throw. The whole stand stood up, both sides, you know. But in a way, it was the most embarrassing thing. It was like, you know, I don't want this. You know, I want to play, I want to be good. My brother was good, he was a McDonald's All-American. I wanted to have a good team. So we started to build a team. When we won the state championship, it was the greatest thing ever. I graduated, Julie was still in school, and they won it again in 1986. So she had 2 years of being a state championship team player. We tell them it's heart. It's in your heart. You gotta know, you gotta have it right here. If you don't have it right here, you know you're not gonna get to that next level. We've tried to instill that with them with everything. We taught them heart and taught them that never give up, even when it gets tough. And Coach Phil wouldn't let them give up. He's a great motivator. He would come in at halftime when we were losing and not doing real well, and he would sit down and he'd just tell them, "Now listen, girls, I love you. we got to do something, you know. This is not going to work out. We're going to have to do something different. But he would give them the greatest speeches and give them the encouragement that they needed to get back out there and play harder.
I never had that experience to win a state championship until recently, not as a player anyway, but you know, having those two on this team and at practice every day, they had experienced it. You know, they could tell them what they experienced that I never experienced, that I couldn't tell them. And, you know, having them here every day when I couldn't be here. You know, we never missed a beat. With me being gone, they handled it. And that meant a lot because you never had to worry about how practice was going to go. You know, they had it handled.
Gracie and Bailey's moms, Deb and Julie, they went through it. You know, in the households, there were conversations about this is what's got to be done. You've got a phenomenal coach in a small town that was a great player, coached at the junior college level, just amazing with the kids, and they believe. It just all started coming together in like a perfect storm of belief. And then when we started working on the weaknesses and putting people in positions to where they really could be more successful, I mean, the sky was the limit, and then these girls saw it, and it just took off from there. To me, it's high school basketball at its best.
The Phillips Bears are 29-3. They're the Northwest Regional Champions. Phillips in the dark unis, Spring Garden in the white unis, and we are ready to play some basketball.
I don't really know if we all expected to make it to the state championship game, but just making it there, it was great. Just making it to the Final Four, it was an experience. It was amazing. Just being from this small town, walking into the Legacy Arena, you're speechless, really. I mean, you walk in and you're like, I'm about to play on this court, especially when you go in there and you get to see the court. You see how big it is, see how big the stands are. Your
heart was racing. I mean, like sweating, like, oh my gosh, I have to step on that court and play in front of all these people, all the pressure's on you. I made it here, we made it here. We worked our butts off when we got here.
The big lights and all the crowd, you just have to realize, you know, I'm fixing to step on this court and play, and you're gonna have to block out the noise, but know that all your fans are supporting you.
Being there the first time, I was scared to death. I had butterflies in my stomach, my heart was racing. I was like, we gotta do this, you know, I gotta step my game up, I've gotta help my team out, we've all gotta work together and do this. My mom, she kinda talked to me about it because she's been there, her and Deb, Bailey's mom. The court's like in a hole and then there's just fans everywhere. Your nerves just go crazy and you don't know how to act, you know, you just gotta calm yourself down and tell yourself that it's all okay, it's just like any other game, just play your game, you've got this, you know.
We were very nervous all the way into like the first quarter, but then it just started feeling like a regular gym. So then that's when we started picking up our game.
When you first walk in, like your heart is beating, it's bad. Like it is so intimidating being out there, but once you realize you're out there to play and then you calm down, you realize that I just have to play, it comes easy.
Being able to play there, it's a great experience.
Time has run out almost on Phillips.
Walking away as a loser, I felt embarrassed. I think we all did.
I was embarrassed myself, and we were all just kind of like devastated. It just seems like it was letting everyone down.
It hurts. It stings to drop one anytime, but you get this far as the Bears of Phillips did.
After we lost in 2018, it was literally the worst feeling ever. It was like a weight on your chest, and it stayed for weeks.
It was awful. We all cried. I could cry now thinking about it. It was so heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. They were devastated. They didn't realize that they had done something big, really, to win second place, but it wasn't good enough for them. That's not what they wanted, and that's not what we told them all these years. That's not what you're going to do. You're going to win.
It's worse than a heartbreak, I can tell you that. Like, I would rather go through a heartbreak than lose that again. You just want to cry. Like, you feel like everything you've done was for nothing. Like, I don't know, you just kind of feel empty.
It was like the worst pain I think we've ever felt. After we lost, you know, we were all so heartbroken that we didn't even show up to school because we felt like we were sore losers. You know, like everybody was counting on us, you know, and we lost it.
We feel like we let everyone down, especially our coach. Like, I feel like we just let Coach Phil down so bad.
I was proud of them, but I knew they had really wanted the state championship and they worked really, really hard for it. That was the hardest part, to see the sadness on their face, the disappointment on their face. I wasn't like they was. I wasn't totally disappointed.
Spring Garden winning the Class 1A Girls Championship 52-38 over Phillips.
Sure, I would love to win it, but for Phillips High School in Bear Creek, Alabama, to play for a state champ, just play for one, that's humongous. And I was proud of them. I was honored to even have the opportunity to play for one. Sure, I wanted to win it, but I mean, I was okay and satisfied just to have a chance to play for it.
After that game, I remember a couple of them coming and crying, and I was crying with them in the locker room, and they were, apologizing, because they knew how bad, personally, I wanted it. Coach Ville wanted it. But when you start hearing kids apologize, when they've given everything, something bigger can come after that. And fortunately, it was, as I said, we had a lot of people coming back, lost some very, very, very key pieces from that team. But going through the process of how the lights look, how big is the arena, that experience was beyond vital. In their lives, their whole lives got affected by what happens to you when you lose a game of that magnitude. Because nobody ever goes into a state championship game thinking they're gonna lose it. I can promise you that.
And I remember saying to myself, I'm gonna do whatever I have to come in next season and help us, go back to Legacy Arena and try to get a state championship win.
I think that game of losing made them have a different attitude and feeling about how they're going to work that coming year.
Every day at practice we came in, we knew we had to be ready to play. We knew we had to get better every day at practice.
Championship season. Coach Ville worked our butts off. We did literally anything you could to get in shape. If we didn't make a sprint, he said, you're going to run 2 more extra. If we didn't make those sprints, we had to run more and more. We did a tip drill, we did Indian run.
Practice got a lot harder. He told us what we needed to do. He just pushed us a lot. We didn't really have confidence, and he gave us a lot of confidence. He made us believe, he's like, you can do this, don't say you can't. At the end of the year, there's no more I can't anymore. It was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try anyway.
The one thing that the team had to get better at doing was consistently making shots, even more so making timely shots and shooting and making shots when you're tired. And that's what they would do. They would go work and get shots in. They would get them in sometimes before school, but a lot of times they would go at night after they'd had practice or after they'd had a game and just get some shots up and get some feel.
When they had any time off, any classes off, or any time they get out done with the class early, hey, can we go to the gym? They had the shooting gun up, they were shooting. If one had a bad day, they were encouraging them. I saw them drag each other on sprints when somebody couldn't make it. I've seen them hold a garbage can where they threw up.
The attention to detail, the questions that would be asked in practice, what if this happens, they were just so much more engaging. And I think it comes with, there's a line when kids become seniors that you have to cross in becoming a leader, and not being a follower. And if you want to build a culture and build a program, and they all bought in, but there's a couple girls on that team that they didn't give a whole lot of the rest of them a lot of choice either. That group of seniors, they stepped up and led by example, and you saw what the fruit was.
After losing, we lost a lot of good players, but we just knew we had to work harder because of that, and we were just being pushed still. We just knew that it was game time every time we stepped on the court.
Everybody just helped motivate everyone. We always had supporters, and our team always helped everybody up. We always had, hey, you can do this, don't give up, don't say you can't do it.
They were always at the gym. The gym was always open. Anytime anybody wanted to go, anytime anybody wanted to work, that's what we did. It's a safe place for the kids to go and get rid of anything and everything that's messing with them in their lives. And then you start adding the fuel of trying to compete for a championship, that is so elusive, because people do not realize how hard it is for things to fall into place and win a state championship. So many things have to go right, and so many things have to not go wrong for you to do it.
We went through a lot of struggles too, between players, drama, or things happening at home, but our fans backed us a lot, and we really stayed together. We all became closer. We done things as a team. We didn't let things come in between us.
We all worked together and hey, don't let this get in the way of when we step on the court. And we always were there for each other. And we were ever running sprints in behind. I had Gracie drag me because I didn't think we were going to make it. We always had each other's backs.
I know these girls. I knew their potential. I knew what they could do. I knew what they were capable of doing.
We were not going to lose again. Didn't matter how down we were, didn't matter what.
And once we started really becoming a unit and diving into what was going on, everybody bought in and everybody wanted to have one goal, and that was to get the state championship ring.
A 6'2" senior, number 1, Bailey. A 5'7" junior, number 2, Gracie Holman. A 6'1" junior, number 3, Allison McCall. A 5'6" senior, number 4, Misty Dishner. And a 5'9" senior, number 5, Amber Markham.
From losing the state championship to going back to the state championship, we felt like, you know, what if we lose? I mean, we'll feel that heartbreak again. We'll feel like we let our coach down. We had the whole town counting on us. We had other schools counting us, like from Marion County.
We knew that losing the past year was like, it was a heartbreak on us. We still had something on our chest that we needed to fix, you know. We just wanted to go and win it for our community, our parents, our coach, everybody.
When we came in there and like seen the gym, we were just kind of like mad. Like we were like game face ready. We were like, oh yeah, like this is it.
We were used to the way it looked and everything, but it's just like we were really excited, but yet, you know, hey, we're going to go get this time. We're going to bring home the blue map.
Because once we stepped on the court, all our problems were away. We were ready to play and chemistry was there. It was just great.
When I was playing, you give me a ball, I'm fine. You give me a basketball, I didn't care what was going on, but having to sit there and watch and wanting to tell them, you know, you got to go here, you got to do this, you know, and knowing that they're not going to hear everything that I'm thinking or saying, it was a lot harder. I'm telling you, a lot harder.
At one point, we were going to give up in the game, and then we just thought about, you know, the red map that we won last year and how much we did not want to do that again. And we were all just looking at each other, you know, Coach Bill was in our ears telling us, come on, we can do this, you know, motivating us. And we all got together, you know, and we were just like, we got to do this, because we were behind a little bit there for a minute, and then we just got in our heads that we have to do this year.
Right now, what Coach Bill's telling his team is, hey, we've been here before.
And I knew in that state championship game, the last 8 minutes, I said, we got this. We're supposed to win this thing.
You got to have a plan for if you're down 9 with 4 minutes to go and people start coming out and stalling the ball until we go to shot clock. You got to have a plan for that. And that was the situation that had always haunted me, and that's the situation that ended up happening. This team was down and Skyline was really good. The girls never panicked. Coach Bill called a timeout, went man. These girls hadn't played man-to-man. They played man-to-man one possession in 5 years, and they go man and get 5 steals. Point guard wasn't gonna let them lose that day. Wasn't gonna let them lose. Anytime you have a player that averages 9.5 points a game for her career and scores 63 points in 2 games and shoots 31 free throws, she's not gonna let her team lose. And so it was just the leading mentality of what a point guard is supposed to do. Everybody else just followed in. And then there was just, what was so cool is like there was play after play after play after play. Like at the end of that game, if you go back and watch it, to where each person had their own role. I mean, I'll never forget the block at the end by Amber Markham. It was just like the stamp of the whole deal is like, we're here to stay, we're getting our ring, and we're going back to Northwest Alabama. I've never seen anything like it. Just refuse to lose.
You know, we had people at the state championship game we didn't even know. Like, they didn't even go to Bear Creek.
You see the clock start ticking down, and then you see the excitement on their face. And you look up in the stands and you see everybody from Bear Creek, Haleville, Hackleburg, Phil Campbell, all the surrounding areas, everybody came together and supported us. And just seeing the excitement for them. You know, I kind of forgot about myself for a moment and just thought about, you know, them in this community. What a great feeling it was.
It's the most dramatic comeback I've ever seen in Birmingham. I've seen a lot of them. To come from down 9, when it's pretty much done. It's about to be a double-digit lead. You get a steal, you get another steal. By the time that game's over with, you look up, I mean, you snap your fingers and the game's over, and bam, it happens like that. They never thought that they weren't going to win this thing. And it's almost like they willed it to happen. And then one player felt it, then another player felt it, then another player felt it.
Oh my.
How about a steal? Lexi Dishner the other way. and the SheBears take the lead with a minute to play.
Playing in that state championship game, you know, we went back and forth with leads.
Understand the situation, and as a coach, what you have to be able to do is when your players look in your eyes, you have to make sure they believe that you believe they can do it, period.
Lexi Dishner was going to the free throw line, and we all started hugging. We were like, we just won a state championship.
Like being on there, there's like 7 seconds left, and you like look at your teammates and you're like, dude, we're about to win this. Like we're about to get a blue map. This is like huge. And just the excitement, the crowd going crazy.
About 3 seconds left in the game, I think I was throwing the ball in, and then I looked at Lexi Dishner and she started just crying with happy tears, and it was like so exciting.
It's just a great, great experience.
Feeling that, it blew over the losing.
It was crazy. I cried like a baby. I did, happy tears. But just looking up at all of them, and they're all hugging, crying, taking videos of us, pictures. Everyone was so proud of us. That hasn't been done in Marion County in how long? Hasn't been done here in how long? We didn't just do that for us or our coaches. We did this for literally the entire town. After the game, so many people were just, people I have no idea who they are, taking pictures. They were getting us to sign autographs on stuff, the kids were, and it was awesome.
I'll never forget him looking at me. We went to dinner with the team after the game. He looked over at me and he had tears in his eyes and he said, "We did it, Bubba." Everybody that knows him knows that's him. It was just kind of like an exhale, you know, and then now I got to just feel a little taste of just how legendary that whole run was and how cool it was to be a part of it.
Then my mom, she's won state championship. I can't even express how great it was to experience something like that, because I know we made everyone proud, our teammates, we loved each other like so much. And I think it made us grow closer, and to our coaches, to our family.
It made my heart feel good because I knew that our town was small, but we always had a lot of supporters. And my grandpa has been helping me with like fast breaks and helping our team, and helped my mom. My mom won her state championship her senior year, and it was her goal for us to win our senior year. So we were glad to have all the supporters, knowing that it was kind of like in the family.
It was awesome, greatest feeling. I thought the greatest feeling was when I won state. My team won state, but it wasn't. It was when they won. Because I love these girls. I mean, they're all my kids. I have one that's my biological daughter, you know, but I love them. They're great. They're a great group of girls. I'd take care of any of them anytime.
I think we were more excited that everybody was like happy, you know, that we won something. Because I don't think that we actually realized that what we have done. Seeing everybody just crying, hugging everybody in the stands, and seeing people that we didn't even know, it was very exciting.
It's just something that people will always remember, and getting to do it with, you know, my best friends, girls that I'm with every day. It was awesome. Something you'll never forget, and never forget the feeling.
The town, they were so pumped. Like when they seen us coming in, they had signs made, I mean balloons, like people like videoing everywhere. Everyone was so excited. Even people that didn't even have like kids, grandkids, anything, they felt like proud. Like they were like, yeah, you made us known. Seeing them happy like just made it, the win, so much better for us. Like, cause we done it for everyone. We done it for our community, our coaches, our school. We done it for everyone.
Well, on our way home, we stopped at Natural Bridge, and we were waiting. I think we were waiting on some escorts. Bailey was in Deb's car. She had the state championship trophy. Sitting up there, we were all playing "We Are the Champions," singing it. Like the whole way back through Haleville, Bear Creek, we pulled up, we were singing it. And literally, it's like people just went crazy. You know, they were like, the champions are home.
I rode with the blue map and the sunroof all the way from Haleville to Bear Creek, and everyone was just like, wow, that's a big excitement. I think they knew we were going to do it because we had like worked so hard in previous years to try to build ourselves up to get to there.
Well, I'm an emotional guy, believe it or not. I really and truly am. It was just overwhelming for our police to come to Natural Bridge and escort our basketball team in. I mean, and then you come into Bear Creek and there's a sign hung. It's the first thing I saw. And then you see all the people here at the school and the community, you know, here congratulating us, and all the text messages and phone calls I got. It just meant a lot, you know, especially me being from here and just living right across the tracks all my life. And this is a job I always wanted. I never wanted any other job but this one. This is the job I've always wanted at Phillips High School. And I've been blessed to be able to do that and to win a state championship here.
They are always going to be remembered as the team that had the SheBear mentality, that would claw, that would scratch, that would do everything they had to do to win, to beat you. They would call each other out. They would call their coaches out. They would call their parents out. But that's who they were. That's who they are.
I think that our legacy will be a group of hardworking girls that knew what they wanted and they went after it.
I think they're going to look back and say that team had grit. They had a mission set and they weren't going to give up on it. They were going to work as hard as they possibly could.
We'll be known as like the very fast-paced team. You know, we never stopped. We were very determined.
We were feisty. Like they'll remember us as running and gunning. Like these girls were in it to win it. Like they came from nothing to something. When they tell our story, they'll be like, "Look, never give up. Like you can start from nothing and then look what they can do."
I feel like they just are going to look back at us as a hard-working team. We never gave up. We were motivated enough to want to work hard enough to get back to get the blue mat.
Relentless. That's the word that sticks to me. We're going to play you when the horn sounds, the ball's tipped, we're coming after you. And we're going to play you for 4 quarters or 5 quarters or whatever it takes, and we're not slowing down. They were mentally tough. They were physically tough. Relentless.
They're very determined. They were not going to give up. We're not settling. We set a goal to win state championship and we're going to do it. And they did.
I think their legacy will be a legacy of just unstoppable belief in each other, in the community. It's a modern day Northwest Alabama story of Hoosiers. Great things can come in very, very, very small packages if you just put the right ingredients with it. And that's what Scottville did. So that's the legacy. SheBear mentality, state champs.
I feel like when people tell our story, that's how they'll tell it. They'll tell us as we were fighters and we're legends.
Right now I've been training. I'm going to Shorter University to play college basketball. I'm not 100% on what I want to do career-wise yet, but I'm excited to, get to go off and play 4 more years and get to experience that. I'm playing with a team that's struggled, so I'm hoping it's going to be a great experience like I had here.
I am wanting to go to Northwest. I've applied and got accepted, and I'm going to go into the school for radiology and study that.
I'm going to Northwest Shoals Community College and just going to maybe go into business and transfer to maybe UNA or Athens.
I go to Bevel State Community College. I'm going to be a nurse.
I've been at Bevel State Community College in Fayette. I've played volleyball there. I'm going to be a teacher and a coach. That's what I'm going to school for. But I'm going to move back here and start coaching with Coach Phil at Marion County. So that's like a big thing for me because that's like my dream. That's what I want to do.
With all that he put into that place, with all he put into the community, there wasn't anybody better to bring it home than Scott. He cares so much about making sure that those kids are okay. In a lot of situations, to be quite honest, are not the best in rural areas, in rural Alabama. His story was going to end this way, and sometimes angels are warriors that are dressed up as coaches.
The hardest decision I've ever made in my life was retiring here at Phillips High School, but it was time. And I am going to be teaching driver's ed at Phillips and Hackleburg and Marion County High School. And I'm going to coach varsity girls basketball at Marion County High School, which I'm very excited. I'm very excited that Lexi Dishner is going to go be one of my assistants. And I'm ready for the new journey that this has for me.
For where they were and where they got to, and for all of us to just get to be a part of watching them grow as people, as players, and they made it so special for so many people, and it'll be 20 years down the road before they really, really realize it. But the bonds that were made, it's just a testament to who those people are, who their parents are. I feel like I got a bunch of kids. Of all the basketball, Final Fours, anything in my whole life, it is by far my coolest, most amazing experience in basketball. And I owe those girls and Coach Ville and that town so much more than I could ever repay them.
People don't know where Bear Creek is. You know, we're a little hole in the wall town. They laugh at our athletics most of the time. We're not world beaters most of the time, but we're competitive. And we're gonna give you everything we got. And we got great kids in this school, in this community. It's not as fortunate as some schools. You know, we have to fight for everything we get, but we have something more precious, and that's a family bond, friendship and love, and surrounded by a community that supports everybody, no matter what you have or what you don't have.